Missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week I'm going to be doing a touch-up for a client. So today she came in and we normally cut her hair, but she's wanting to grow this out. So we're just going to be trimming her up and trimming up her bangs, and she definitely wants to go a little bit lighter now that she is more into natural tones lately. We used to do a lot of like silvers and like purple grays and some creative color here and there, but she's definitely gone to the other side and have switched over, and we've been doing a lot more natural tones on her, and we are absolutely loving the change up on her, and she likes the grow out and the fade of everything. So today we're going to be focusing on doing more of like a slightly heavier highlight, because she did wait quite a while in between her appointment. There's going to be a lot of regrowth, and to get her nice and bright and blonde, I need to do a more heavier highlight because she has so much dark root. So some inspo photos that she showed me were just like really bright level 10 blondes, and they almost looked really solid. So that's why today I'm going to be going in with more of a heavy highlight. So overall it's going to look like a slightly more rooty blonde, but there's not going to be too much dimension going throughout the hair because we are wanting to get her really light. I find that when clients are naturally like a level 3, if you don't do a heavy enough highlight, then even though the highlights themselves that you're lightening do get to a level 10 overall, when the whole color is all done and blow dried, because their natural is so dark and compared to the highlights that you created, it doesn't overall look that bright. So for darker hair clients, I would say like a level 5 and below, you definitely have to do a really heavy highlight to create those looks where it looks like a really nice brighter blonde, almost to the point where sometimes it looks more solid. So today I'm going in and I'm pretty much doing my detail hairline, doing a weave around the nape, and now I'm taking center sections all the way up the head and actively trying to pick out the pieces that have the longest root and slicing those areas. So for my lightener, I am using the Danger Jones lightener, and if you guys haven't used this one or heard of it, this lightener is 9+ levels of lift. I used to use the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf lightener, and this lightener definitely is very comparable. I am personally just very picky with my lighteners, so I need something that has a lot of strength but is not scary. So I love to use this lightener, and I've been doing it on all my clients lately, and it's now my go-to for any type of blonding service. So since we're starting off in the back, I did a lighter volume for my first bowl, so I mixed up their 5 volume with their 20 volume. And then for the rest of the head, I'm just going to be using their 20 volume, and it just kind of gives that first bowl a little bit of time before it catches up to the rest. So for her inspo, since she wanted to be more of a really bright blonde, she typically waits like every 4 months to get her touch-ups, and she looks really well compared to a lot of other clients that have the similar level that she does. But in order for clients to stay that really bright blonde at this level, it's really ideal for them to come in sooner, because having their roots grow out every like 4 months or even more past the 4-month mark can create a lot of dimension. As you can see as I'm going through her roots right now, you see a lot of dark root, and it's really long, and each time that she came in, I would always actively pick out the root that was the longest. So I'm trying to kind of essentially keep her ends nice and solid, but for clients who really want to stay this like really solid blonde tone, it's really ideal for clients to come in I would recommend clients wait no longer than like 12 weeks if they want to maintain a really bright blonde that looks almost solid. And then the longer they wait, just explain to your clients that it'll just be a more dimensional blonde. And because if a client is naturally like a level 5 and below, if they wait that long, sometimes their natural can overpower the blonde or the heavy highlight that you have done, and so it might not look as bright of a blonde as it would if they came in sooner. And then the other thing that I would probably mention to your clients, so like if they want something that is more solid blonde than a dimensional blonde, then their roots are definitely going to start bugging them a lot sooner than they would if it was a little bit more dimensional. So as I'm going through her roots, you can see I left a lot of dimension her last highlight, but our last time that we did her roots, we were going for something that was a little bit more blended and a little softer. And today she showed me a picture that was just super blonde, so I'm going in with a much heavier highlight. And you can see my sections in between each other are probably like, if you were to take 2 slices, it would be the second slice. So the first slice is going to be the negative space, and then the second slice is going to be essentially that highlight that I'm pulling. And that's how close apart my sections pretty much are to kind of give her that more solid effect. And to get her even lighter is the next time when she comes in, all of the dark that I left out this time, I will be essentially picking up next time. And so overall, she will be pretty much almost solid blonde, and coming in for that as touch-ups. Again, ideally would be within the like 10 to 12 week mark. And then anything beyond that, you just kind of get a little bit more dimensional. And then the roots will have a definitely harsher grow out the longer you wait, because we've done such a heavy highlight. And so that's just something to consider when you're talking to your clients too, and letting them know that like going a little bit more solid, a little bit heavier of a highlight, more blonde essentially does create a harsher grow out, and having something that is more dimensional and softer with more of their natural peeking through allows them to grow a little bit longer and looks softer as it grows out and more natural, and doesn't give that harsh of a line when the roots grow out either. So this client has some bangs, and so whenever a client has bangs, I never ask them anything about a money piece, because it technically does not exist when you have bangs. Like the area where the money piece would lay technically lays underneath all of the bangs. So the way I would approach bangs is I like to just melt it the same throughout. So I did a couple weaves back to back and just kind of slowly doing weaves into slices as I connect the front hairline to the back. And you know, I feel like you can probably get away with doing somewhat of a money piece if the bangs were like a little bit longer past the eyes, but I think if the bangs are above the eyes, it definitely looks hidden or just strange to do a money piece. Like there's no point of that because it really won't show. But I feel like if the bangs were longer, like let's say curtain bangs, you could definitely do somewhat of a money piece. It's not going to look exactly the same as it would if the client had no bangs, but just things to consider when you're foiling the front area if your client has bangs or longer bangs. So by now I have definitely switched my developer to just 20 volume, and I'm just going to continue 20 volume throughout the rest of the head. I feel like 20 volume is always like a good median to where it's not too powerful and it's not too weak. I always feel like it is just perfect for all of my clients who are definitely like level 5 and below. So since I'm not doing a mani piece, I'm just going to be doing a weave on the hairline on the side to connect the front hairline, and then doing another weave above the ear to make sure that the whole hairline is covered, because remember when I first started her hair, I did a weave around the nape and the neck, and so technically around her whole hairline there's just a nice soft weave, and then as I connect the front sides to that back center section, I'm just going to continue doing my slices. And yes, I am going in and making sure that these sections are nice and close. They're definitely not as close as they were on the top part of her head, but I would say that these sections are still fairly close. I would probably say like maybe like a quarter of an inch apart at most, but again, just trying to actively pick out the pieces that have the longest root. So off camera, I did lighten the ends of her hair with some lightener just right after this on wet hair, and we did use the Danger Jones lightener with just 20 volume and let it sit to kind of brighten up the ends a bit, because I feel like with her inspo picture she definitely needed to be at least like a level lighter. So we just let that sit for probably like 10 minutes or so, and then rinse it out before she was ready to be toned. So now we are going in with the toner. So I'm using the Danger Jones gloss toners, and for her root formulation we're going in with 6-01, which I love. I feel like this is going to be my new go-to root shadow toner for a lot of my ash tones, or even like my grays and silvers, because I feel like this level 6 natural ash has a lot of pigment in it, and I definitely feel like it makes the hair super soft too. I feel like whenever I use these toners, I never have any issue brushing it out. It actually does feel very conditioning and hydrating whenever we apply it. So now I'm going in with a lighter toner. So I am using a 10-12 to kind of give her more of like an ash bright blonde look, and I'm first applying it to the mids first. I'm not applying it to the ends at all yet, so I'm taking into consideration that I did lighten her ends, and so because they are previously highlighted and then we lightened her ends today, so I'm predicting that her ends are probably going to be a little bit more porous than her mids. So what that means, if the hair is more porous, it will definitely grab the toner a lot quicker. So I want to make sure that the mids and the root is fully toned before I apply toner or let any toner touch the ends, because when the hair is porous, if the toner grabs too fast, you're going to have to rinse it off really quickly. So before I let that happen, I want to make sure that the root and the mid looks really good before I start applying it to the end. So right now I have put the root shadow on, I put the toner on the mids, and I'm now just brushing the toner down to the ends. And what that's going to do is it's going to kind of drag some of that toner onto the ends a little bit and kind of help show me which areas need a little bit more toning, because some areas will actually grab some of the toner if you brush it down like that, and then you can go back in and just reapply toner to the ends wherever is needed. And I find that that kind of helps keep some of the ends nice and bright and helps preventing you from overtoning them. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. I absolutely loved it. I feel like her ends look so beautiful and even, and considering how long her roots were, I feel like we got her nice and beautifully solid, and the bangs and the blend and everything just blend in so beautifully. You can see that the blend from the bangs to the back is very cohesive. It doesn't have anything where the front is a little bit lighter, but I feel like that just works better, especially when a client has bangs like this. So for maintenance, I would definitely tell a client to use purple shampoo only as needed, like if their hair got golden, and let it sit for a bit, because definitely purple shampoo can make the hair go a little too dark if you overuse it. So I only tell my clients, if they want to keep their hair nice and bright, to use it as needed when they see a little bit of yellow. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.